Hey, this is Coach Kinsey Shae here with Counselor Bobby Merwin.
Hello.
And today we thought we would just talk about how honest are you? Meaning, how honest are you with yourself? Are we looking outside of ourselves to validate ourselves? Are we really tapping into what we want and being honest
hmm
about it? How honest are you?
I think we all like to think that we're honest. It's a self-reflection that we look at and go like, "Oh, I'm a totally honest person." But I've had people like try and track what they say every day and just see how many times we lie during the day, not only to other people but to ourselves. I mean, there's been many studies about it, but the worst person to lie to is yourself. I mean, lying is bad, period. Okay. I tell my kids, you can only lie if you're hiding a present or if it's for safety. That's the only two times that you can lie. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I want to break down the word lie because a lot of people associate it with shame and guilt.
break it
That's
down.
not, yeah, we're talking about the innocent white lies, the limiting
hmm
belief lies that we tell ourselves, It's not the shame and guilt, you're a bad person because you lie. It's not
hmm
where we get our back up, if you will. This is just being just raw and authentic with yourself. Um,
hmm
are you, when I hear this a lot, you know, like with dating, there's no good men, right? And do you really,
Hello.
do you,
Holding a sign. I'm
I
holding a
know.
sign. I'm a good man. I'm a good man.
But I mean, are you clear on the values of the person that you want? Because most people, especially with the people that I coach, they're not
hmm
clear on their own values. So when you have a skewed kind of value system in yourself, I
Yeah,
know.
a skewed.
Skewed.
That's close. That's close to a skewed. I think it's another Kinseyism, and now
It
it's time
is.
for another Kinseyism with Kinsey.
It is.
I love it.
I know. But I think quite often we try to validate ourselves by our partner, and
Oh, sure.
we look at expectations of how we can validate ourselves
hmm
by other people's escalate. Like what they do, their stature,
hmm
how much money they make, you know. Um, I've even had women, be very blunt about how big.
Mm. um, thank you. Yeah, I write all my own material.
I know.
Yes, they have been to me too. You and I have talked about, well, everything that we end up talking about on camera, we talk about beforehand, either the minute before or the week before, or the month before. So you and I have had, this conversation before, and yeah, it comes down to the show is a little bit about lying, but for that part of the topic, it's all about expectations.
Mhm.
What are your expectations, and are they realistic?
Right.
There's that old adage, why does Tiger Woods date blonde Swedish supermodels? And the answer is because he can,
Yeah.
right? Every guy would, but you have to stay within your realm, if you will. But
Mhm.
yeah, I love how you put that. That was perfect. I'm just gonna keep adjusting my seat here all day. So this camera on this platform, it's like really super broad. I'm like, I'm right here. I'm like, the laptop is against me. I'm like, let me just bring this in a little bit. I'm gonna do a little cinematography here. Okay. All right. And action. Yes, there you go. But yeah, I get it. We want the most that we can get. We always do. We don't leave money on the table. Nobody does. There was a contract, like a sports contract, a couple of years ago that people were up in arms because this person left. like $115,000 or $1 million or something like that a year to go play for 121 million. And I'm like, that's $6 million, bro. Do you have $6 million? That's a lot of money. So yeah, we
But
don't leave money on the table.
I think that's a very American view.
Yeah, I do too.
Because we tend to stroke our own ego by
Hmm.
our partners, by our job. We have this false
Yeah,
identity in
yeah.
ourselves. And after my car accident, I struggled with that because I'm like, who am I if I
Hmm.
don't have my nursing degree? I mean, I had my degree, but working as a nurse.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, I get
so,
that. My value changed personally when I got my master's degree.
mhm.
Just I felt different. I didn't feel as different when the book went bestseller. I was told that I would. I really didn't. But I did feel a lot different once I got my LPC, because that was a struggle. I mean, that was as long and as arduous as getting my master's degree, just not as many classes.
Right.
So yeah, we do pivot ourselves against who we're with as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we really paint ourselves in a corner when we have
Hmm.
these physical or monetary expectations on what the relationship should be. I'm not saying lower your standards, but I
Yeah.
where is your intentionality with it? Do you want to have peace in a relationship, or do you want to tie in money, where you're automatically putting yourself at a disadvantage if you don't have that yourself and you're trying to find somebody that
Hmm.
does. It's not an equal relationship, you know?
Yes, and I totally hear you. And I've had clients, especially men. There have
Hmm.
been there have been a percentage of women, but I'd say it's more like, 70-30, where they will start to, because I mean, when we talk in counseling, we talk about the same seven things all the time. And one of them is relationships, interpersonal relationships with your significant other and or family.
Hmm.
And it's usually significant other. And the way that men will not only be frustrated with their wives or their SO, but they will then like physically describe them or describe what they're doing.
Hmm.
And it's never a positive thing. I'm
Right.
like, wait, hold on, bro. That was good enough when you went in. Now that you're mad, it's not good enough. Could you help me with your equation? Did
Right.
you lie to yourself when you got into this, or are you lying to yourself now because of anger and you're not sharing accordingly?
Right.
So
Exactly.
that's as
So
good as I'm going to be today. That's as smart as I'm going to be. So thank you for watching. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe. Yeah, just kidding.
but I think being honest with yourself, that's a superpower because I find often that we have a hard time looking ourselves in the mirror. That's why a lot of times in my beginning of my coaching, I have
Hmm.
people do the mirror exercise where they actually, you know, tell themselves every morning, you're beautiful, you're powerful, you're whatever they need, because we have to
Hmm.
rewrite. If I could talk today, rewrite the narrative, in
Seriously, I
our
gotta rewire this. Hey, get that string. You gotta rewire it. Rewire is a very difficult word.
mind.
You do need to rewire. I was pulling a face, okay, as you were saying that, and I was thinking, I am a counselor. I am a person that is supposed to spread some positivity and insight. And you're saying this, and I'm getting half nauseous because like I don't want to look in the mirror and do that.
Yep.
It's hard to do. I think initially, we're looking at ourselves physically. We're looking at our aging.
Yep.
I was talking to you about when I was in my 20s. I was and this is going to sound pompous, but it's not meant to be. It's supposed to be descriptive. I was way too good looking.
Yeah.
I had no brains in my head. All I had was this. That's it. You wouldn't know that now. I got it. But then that was what my currency was.
Right.
Okay. And now my currency has changed and it's actually much more valuable. I like my currency now a lot better. The education, the maturity, I mean, I am male, so I'm only so mature. But the things that go along with aging, but then you lose the other parts, and then you look at the mirror and you go, "Whoa, who's that guy?" So it's hard for us to
Yes.
do that, and I'm talking myself into doing it every day. Every time I shave, I try and just compliment myself as I'm shaving, and I smile, and it's hard, but don't. It's not lying to yourself as much as it is going acceptance. You have to accept
Yep.
what's going on. So
Yeah. I think also when I have my clients do this, I go, if you can't even get to the mirror and say the affirmations, whatever, what is going on in your head? And journal on that, because that's
hmm
going to be your pathway to being able to compliment yourself. You know,
okay,
you
all
know what I
right.
mean? Because it gives you a dot on the map, you know?
So can you expound on that a little bit?
Meaning, like, if you are going to the mirror and you're like, I don't even want to look at myself today, I don't want to say these words, and
Okay.
you're going down this rabbit hole, I look like shit today, you know, I didn't get enough sleep, I know I'm going to have
hmm
bags, I'm just not a good person. I mean, that is stuff that you can work on. It's you can point out what is on your plate of life, like the circumstances that are
hmm
holding you back, keeping you stuck. Um, a lot
Okay.
of times like, this is funny because like last week I was going to do like a maintenance cut on my hair, right? And I
Uh-huh.
was just going to do like a quick, boom, boom. And the cord got caught and I totally whacked off. And then that sounded really bad.
Ah, ah, ah.
But I totally like whacked off my calic, and so I was
Uh-huh.
trying to tighten it up, and I got on a Zoom call, and and this gentleman's like, "You look like a." This is his words. "You look like a dyke," and I'm like, "Okay." And I go, "Dude, I was trying to do my hair," and they're like, "Why didn't you go to a professional?" And I go, "I was just doing a maintenance cut." But the thing is like a lot of women I've talked to, they're just like, I wouldn't even trust myself doing that because I would totally screw it up. I
Oh,
totally
I
screwed
wouldn't trust
it.
myself.
Yeah, I totally screwed it up. And I had to go to somebody to, do the layers and whatever to get it right.
hmm
So it just wasn't all over the place. But the thing is it grows back, man. It grows back.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times we anchor ourselves in fear and we just don't try. We don't get in action. And we,
Yes.
like, I learned from it, like, make sure the
hmm
cord's completely, whatever. Cause I do maintenance
hmm
all the time in the back because I don't like my hair long in the back. But I screwed it up and it's
hmm
okay. It's summertime. I don't have to wear, uh, a hat because my head's cold or whatever.
Right, right. I mean, it's what you want. That's the most important thing. So let's just stop there because it doesn't matter what it looks like
Hmm.
because you know what it looks like. You see yourself, so you're good. If
Right.
you want it to be that short, that's fine. Um, does it have a communication to it? It might, but then the things we wear do too. Like I'm generally in, when I can get out of hoodies, I like it because that means the weather's nice, but I'm generally in a hoodie. I wear a baseball cap 60% of the time, and I wear Wranglers and cowboy boots.
Right.
So people automatically put me into a category. If I was doing the same thing, except I was wearing sweats, it would be different. So we do communicate through what we are wearing and presenting.
Right.
And it's if that's what you want to do and that's what you're comfortable with, then nobody should have anything to say about it, because your beauty is not your hair. Your
No.
beauty is you.
Yeah.
And I am talking to you and I'm talking to everybody. So there is that. So.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, for me to get all worked up about my hair, that was the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something on top of my head, right? And it will grow back. So just like, if you're trying something new, don't limit yourself by the fear of doing something wrong, that perfectionism. I've lived in that, because a lot of people that have trauma, they use control to try to keep them safe. They armor themselves with the control, with the perfectionism, because they think if they're perfect, then they won't get hurt. And that is so far from the truth.
Yes, that is far from the truth. You're right.
Yeah, because if you're trying to control every aspect, you're controlling, who is in your circle. Meaning you might miss out on a really awesome relationship, because you're so focused, hyper focused on these external things that really don't matter. Because to me, it's, somebody's heart, if they're, how they, interact with children, or how, how, you know what I mean? It's not that they, they're a good business person or whatever. Yes, it's a cool bonus. I mean, but it's not the reason. So I guess the intention, you can't just say there aren't good men out there, because it's really being honest with yourself. And let's throw up that, let me say it right. Meme. Yes. I don't know why that a 4-letter word like that gets me all buffled up.
Especially with those E's in it. They just say E,
I know.
Well, I told you about mine with the Spotify thing. It's taken me 5 years to learn how to say Spotify.
Yeah.
By the way, they should sponsor us now.
I know.
But I looked at it, and as soon as I saw it, it was spoofity.
I know.
Thought, what's spoofity? So I called it spoofity for years, and then I saw somebody call it Spotify, and I went, "Oh my god, that's what that says." Oh no!
I love
we
it.
all do that.
Yeah. So this is it. There are no good men left. Be honest. I am being honest. Men don't want to settle down these days.
Be honest.
Okay, I want to marry a top 1%er, despite, I can't even read it, but despite average, and couldn't adjust to my expectations until it was too late.
Thank you.
That's what we're like. What is your intention? What is the specific? I don't know what the deal is with my words today. Woo!
I think one shot of whiskey would just balance that right out. Just get it balanced out. Let's go.
I mean, just be really clear. No apologies. If you're don't beat around the bush. If you want somebody that's, has 250, K job a year and has a Porsche or has a whatever, say it without apology. I mean, honestly, because why beat around the bush with that? I mean,
I agree with you. However, I don't want to hear you bitch, not you, whoever, when you don't get that. Okay. So if you want to have those expectations, you have to understand that a certain level of expectations are going to transfer over to a certain level of disappointments.
Yep.
There's that saying where they say, "Shoot for the stars, then you'll land in the clouds." Yeah. Whereas, I go to recovery meetings, when I had my own clinic, and I had somebody say, "Shoot for the ceiling, you might get to it." I just died so much, because he's right. It's like you want to give yourself, you know, one day at a time, as they say, little expectations. Um, sure, yes, I would like, to have, um, Kelly Clarkson. That'd be great. Um, I think I can put want in one hand and shit in the other and see which one gets heavier quicker.
That's totally a Gen X
Yeah,
statement.
that's totally a what?
Gen X statement.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So, I try and stay within my realm. Um, and I was extremely shallow as a youth, because of the shallowness that I gave off. And now I try and see less of what the physical is and more of what the person is.
Right.
And I have found the value of that. Oh my God. It's like going from, pesos to dollars.
Right.
It's amazing. You just get more out of one.
Right.
It's so good. So
And I think as a whole, we're not taught to be honest with ourselves. We're taught to put on masks. We're taught to put on a facade. We're
oh yeah.
taught, you know, to be one with the Joneses,
Always comparing ourselves. Yeah. And I did it too. I do it. I have to catch myself. It's a natural response. It's like when people say we don't judge people, that is an out and out lie, going back to lies, because we do judge people. Immediately would judge them because it is part of our response system that we have. It's part of our defense mechanism that we have. What we do with that judgment now is up to us. Okay, we go, well, is that correct or not? Probably not. Let's take a farther look at it. Because if somebody walks out of the room and then somebody else walks into the room and they're wearing a gorilla outfit, we're going to judge what's going on there immediately because we're going to go with it on site.
Right.
So.
Yeah, like when I'm doing group stuff, I have it with 3 agreements, and it's setting intention to reserve judgment for yourself and others. No repercussions, meaning whatever is said is to lift people up, not tear them down.
Mm-hmm.
And then unconditional love. And this is not like hallmark, whatever, because when you're going through counseling or coaching or any of these type of things, it is being able to love people through their mess, through their ugly. When you're raw, when your nervous system reacts, you're going to cry. It's going to be messy. You might get a bout of rage, and you just need to let that come out. So that other people in the group, it's like, don't absorb that. They just needed to release that. You know what I mean? So that I think it's intentionality in it to reserve, and, those things, because if we set that intention, we can be more honest with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's key to self-discovery. It's key to up-leveling your life. It is key to be resilient.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's fantastic.
Awareness,
Mm-hmm. We're giving this away. My God. I'm just listening to you talk and I'm like, people pay $100 an hour to hear this.
Yep.
And we're giving this away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should call this Kinsey and Bobby's Gen Exploration.
Yep.
I think it'll be easier to find.
I know.
Yeah. I think we have good stuff. It just needs to land.
Well, for everybody out there, we're figuring out the whole YouTube thing.
Is this thing on? Hello?
Which is like learning.
Get off my lawn!
It is like learning a new language. So.
Oh my God! I mean, just you say shit like that, and first of all, I agree with you. Okay,
yeah.
But I feel so damn old.
Yeah.
we've been talking about the TikTok stuff that we've been doing, and I talked to you about the TikTok class that I'm
Yeah.
taking. I'm literally taking a class, and it's the instructor is fantastic, the information is fantastic, but I just feel so old, you know. Oh, but I'm not lying to myself. See, I'm
Yeah.
being genuine.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not good at this, so I have to face that, and I have to face the music and say I need to do these things.
Well, I would say my intention is because when you say have to and need, it usually leads to shame. So I'm bet you know me with language.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because
All right,
what
so how would I correct that? What verbiage would be better?
my intention is
Um,
not I have to or I need
It
to.
sounds so passive.
What intention?
Yeah, my intention is to. Sounds like I could just get away with doing it or not.
Mm, I don't.
Because I think I agree with you with I have to. That's too that's kind of leading yourself to failure. I get it. Hmm. My intention. I'm gonna toy with that. I'm gonna bounce that one around my soul for a little bit
Yeah,
because it's
because
better. It's better than I have to.
yeah, I love because intentionality equals focus. So what you focus on, you will see more of. So
Yes.
yeah. So when you say my intention is, my focus is,
Okay.
um, yeah, you could use focus. Um, and then when people say when they put like, I always do this, um, I that language just kind of you're not going to change with that language. You know what I mean? You're giving
So
yourself
that's one that I'm a stickler on, and thank you for
that.
saying that. When
Yeah,
people say you always do this, I'm like, well, hold. No, I don't.
yeah,
Let's go with something else. When you're talking and like a lot of the couples counseling that I've done, oh, I
hmm
I don't. I haven't done it for years, and I won't. It's the couples counselors are amazing people. Let's just
yeah,
go there.
yeah,
I want no part of that. It's like having two toddlers in the room.
yeah.
So
I've coached. It wasn't like they were like clients. I didn't have people come in that were married, and I did coaching with them.
hmm
Um, but I've coached my friends, which, in their relationships, and that's a little tricky,
hmm
but
yeah.
if for everybody that's listening, when what another way to say it is like, I always do this, you can say historically, this is what I've done because you're kind of separating yourself. Because when you say,
Wow, I like that.
yeah, because when you say, I've always done this, you're plugged into that energy. So
Yeah.
yeah. So to really unplug yourself from that is to say historically, meaning that it's in history. And my intention is going forward, da 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 da. So
So
I'm
historically, I
yeah,
have avoided doing TikToks, but
yes.
my intention is to do more of them.
Yep.
Did I do good?
You did.
Thank you. There we go. See, you have to practice it. Just like saying stuff into the mirror, right? Like you were
Yep.
talking about earlier. You have to
Yep.
practice it. You have to practice getting that sort of vernacular into your repertoire so that you can do it over and over again. Just like I have taken out when I talk to people, especially clients,
Mm-hmm.
I whenever the word you passes through my lips, I see what its intentionality is. That is
Yep.
it like a very special word for me, you.
Mm-hmm.
Like ever I shouldn't say everybody. People like to, see, people like to start their sentences with, you have to, and then they go on with whatever they're going to say. I'm like, no, no.
Yeah. There's a way you can use it when you're speaking, to really. get
Mhm.
people engaged with it. Like you can talk about like a pivotal experience, like there was a
Yes.
time, you know, and then
Yeah.
you bring people in by using the we, like we have a tendency to feel, or we often feel, and then you go
Mhm.
in, but you have the power inside of you where it uplifts somebody. I like using you for that.
Mhm.
But when you're
Yes.
in an argument or you're texting somebody and somebody's like, you did this, it's an automatic trigger, I would say, for 99.9% of people.
Yes.
You don't like it when other people do it to you. So why would you do
Mhm.
that to somebody else? Um, so it's just having some, just reflection on your
Yeah.
words. Like, what don't you like that people say to you? And really focus on, set intention on how you speak to other people. Because if you don't like it, most often the other people don't either.
I'm really toying with the word "you" in my head now. And
Yeah.
what's funny is when you say a word so many times, it almost doesn't become a word anymore. It's just a
Yeah.
sound now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
this was good.
yeah.
This was good. Oh my gosh, we're at time already. Wow.
Oh,
It is amazing how fast that goes by.
it does.
Oh,
It
you know
does.
what? It's because it's good. It
Uh-huh.
is. It's because it's good. That's why it goes by so quickly.
Indeed.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate this time so much because I get to share with you, I get to share with people, I get to learn something. I learn something every time we do this, and I mean that sincerely. I do. Every time you and I do this, I
Yeah.
learn a little something or a lot of something.
Right.
And I'm gonna have to text you a couple of times with ways to say things because
Yep.
I'm big into that, but you and I like only overlap like 75%. There's a
Right.
few things that I still do that you're like, mm-mm,
No.
yeah. And there's a few things that you do. I'm like, I'd tweak that a little bit. But for the most part, we help each other out. So
Indeed. And
that's a
that's
good
what
thing.
it's about.
That
That's what it's
I
about.
think that's what the hokey pokey is too.
Pokey pokey.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
So, everybody that's watching, just are you being honest with yourself? It's
Hmm.
just a pure question. If you get your back up just by asking yourself, most often you're not being honest with yourself.
Now when you say get your back up, is that a Midwestern saying?
I don't know. I've always said it, and people they're like, "What do you mean get your back up?" And I'm like, when you get activated, you crouch you bring your shoulders up. You get
Oh,
tense, so you bring your back
okay.
up.
I'm older than you. I've never heard that until I talked to you. That's why I said because
Maybe it
your
is. Maybe
family was from what? Iowa, Indiana,
Nebraska.
what?
Nebraska.
Nebraska. Okay, yours was from Nebraska. Mine was from Minnesota.
Yeah.
So
Minnesota.
yeah, yeah. Don't you know? Oh
Don't
God.
you know?
Oh, so hand me some more goulash over there.
I love
Yeah.
goulash. It's so good.
Well,
Not
that's
like
what they call it in the Midwest. Or they
yeah.
call it hot dish. They call it hot dish, not goulash.
No, but
Screwed that up.
goulash isn't the pasta goulash, the American
No,
goulash. Goulash,
no.
it's like almost kind of like a beef stew that's really thick. That's not a stew, but it's super good. I'm not describing it
Yeah.
at
It's
all
it's hard to
very well.
describe it. I like to call it like hamburger helper to the third power.
No,
Because
but it's
hamburger
really, you use good meat in it.
no, you do. You do.
Yeah,
It's good quality. It's kind of like the same theory except it's homemade and tastes a lot better.
it does.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
honest.
have to put a lot of paprika and spices.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
super good.
And when you're doing those, you should go like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you put the spices in, definitely do that. Ah, your little Spice Girls thing.
I-
Yes. Well, will you spend time with me next week?
Huh?
Will you spend time with me next week?
Yes.
Okay, let's see if we can get some people to like and subscribe and
Yeah.
to take a moment to write something down if you want to hear about something, if you want something talked about, if you have a suggestion, please, because we're here to have this as a platform. What's the term that you always say
What?
about how it's an open platform or something like that, like a
Safe space?
safe space? Maybe that's it. I'm gonna go back to drinking. That's what I'm gonna do.
So everybody just like, subscribe, do you know, I'm having problems talking today. So we
Um,
both are.
do I do I need
It's
to?
okay to have off days. I accept
I was
it.
gonna say, do I need to do the what's that acronym for if you're seeing somebody having a stroke? What is that? I
Oh,
should know this.
I know. It went right out of my head.
Yeah, I'm asking you this when you're not having a good day. This is even better. I love this
I
so much.
know.
Oh,
No, I'm just out of it today. But like, subscribe, do all that fun jazz, and we will be here next week. And put your, what were your aha moments? What did you like?
hmm
What did you realize about yourself?
yep,
Put suggestions what you want us to talk about. Yeah, we're open to it all.
yep.
This is just to gain perspective
That's
and
right.
to just explore and have
hmm
fun. Dora the
Okay.
Explorer.
Yes.
All right. You guys have a good day.
Do it. See you
Do
next week.